Hi, welcome to my channel. I am the Hommeyosh, and in this video I'm going over control rigs in UE5 and the functions of a control rig. By the end of this video you'll be able to make a control rig just like you see here. So stay tuned and let's get creating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my content browser here, and where it says characters I'm going to click on that, and you've got mannequins, not the UE4. If you want to use the UE4, that's up to you. Here's the mannequins right here. Go under their mesh. Okay, and here's my manny right here, my skeletal mesh. Now you're going to right click and go to create control rig. There it is. So you have made your control rig. That's great. Your first control rig. Congratulations. But that's not it. We still have a little bit more to do. So if you double click your control rig, it'll take you into another place. Just follow the yellow brick road. So I'm going to go ahead and compile this right here. Make sure I save what I've made. You never know if the power goes out. So what I'm going to do here, this is my source. This is my flow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to add something here. It's called a sequence. Now this is basically my sub panel. I don't know if you ever done electrical work, but if you ever have your breaker box, you have the power that comes in to the house, and you got your little breaker box. This is my breaker box here. So for the control rig, there's so many bones. Well, not too many. As you can see, there's a lot of bones here. And you're like, oh wow, that's a lot. Well, don't worry. It breaks it down. We're gonna start off with just one bone. I'm gonna do something easy and start off with a little head bone here. So with this head bone, I am gonna go ahead and hit Control N. Now what that did for me is that made my control bone. So I can move this around, but it's not going to do anything. Okay, so we're going to take the control rig here, and we're going to go over to the details panel. Now this has everything, the name, so you can make sure you're on the right path. Controls, transform, we want shapes. Okay, so we go into the shapes, and I guess for his neck I want a circle. I don't want to get a thick circle, and I want to turn it 90 degrees on the Y axis. So first let's give it some 2.5, then I go and hit the tab. I hit 2.5, then tab again, 2.5. Now it starts to take, let me move it up here a little bit. As you can see, it's there in the center. But if we go and give it a 90, there it is. So I want to bring it down a little bit. So we go on the X, no, that would be, yeah. Well, let's make sure. Let's click off that. Nope, that's the wrong one. I had it right with the X. There we go. Right about there. Okay, so that's our first control rig. But you can move it and it doesn't do anything. So I'm going to hit Control and it's precise where it's at. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the control rig. This is the head, so I'm going to bring it up here, and I'm going to say get control rig. Let's pop that right there. I don't want to pull this back, give us more room. There it is. So then I'm going to go click on the head, drag in the head, and I'm going to say set bone, because you got the bone is first. So what I'm going to do, detail panel out of my way a little bit. I want to put these side by side, and I want to go connect my transform to the value. So now these are one, they're connected, but not totally until I connect it to my sequence that is connected to the forward solve. So we hit compile, and now we can move the head. Isn't that great? Every time you move it, I always hit Control Z to unmove. So like, I'll go ahead and move his head up. I hit Control Z, that brings his head down and undoes the move control. So that is making the control rig for the head. So the head's pretty simple. It's not as complex, but it does get crazy. So what I like to do is I like to highlight the two. This is my set transform for my head control. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit, well, they're highlighted, hit C. It brings up my comments, and I'm just gonna put in head. And that's to know that this is my head. So I want to move this out of the way a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna give this a comment. I'm gonna call this box. It's my sub box, so I know this is my sub. Let's call it sub forward solve. That'll be it. So I know. There we go. Oh, why is there a P there? Just jumped out. Okay, so next I'm gonna, I guess, work on the upper arm. So we'll just work our way down, left and right. So let's find the upper arm. I'm just gonna put UP. There it is. Here's the upper arm. So like before, I'm gonna hit Control N. And there's our control. So like before, I am going to give it a shape. Circle solid. And we're gonna move it 90. Hit tab twice. 3 times, sorry. 2.5 is a good rounded number. I like using tab to cycle through. It makes it faster instead of trying to put your mouse and move it, type at the same time. But there it is. Oh, I did solid, didn't I? Yes, I did. I need to do thick. I mean, solid looks pretty good. I mean, it's not going to render. I like solid. We'll keep it as solid. Okay, so next, this is going to be my head. So this is going to be my upper arms. I'm skipping the clavicle because it's just a tutorial. If you wanted to do the clavicle first, you can do the clavicle, but I'm just doing the upper arm. So that's all said and done. So we're going to drag in the upper arm, and we're going to set the bone, and then we're going to drag in the upper arm control, and we're going to get control. Okay, so I'm going to pull these up to right here. I'm going to set. Wait, something's not right here. Oh, I got this backwards. That's what's going on. The transform to the value. Alright, that takes care of that. Highlight. It's no, we don't want to highlight yet. We want to set the value. Execute to our sub. And then we compile. And we should be able to move the arm. And there it is. Hello. That's just the upper arm. I found this way is a lot easier. It keeps everything organized and connected. And there's an other way to do it, but this is just the way I prefer. I mean, it just works. You just go down the row, you know, and then just labeling. So next we're going to the right arm. Here's our left. Here's our upper. Now I found out keep the control parented to the bone. So when you do that, because I found I was unparenting them for a while, and I had to go back because I was moving my arm, but my control arm for my wrist was staying still, so I had to go back and parent them, and it was difficult, so I had to redo the whole thing over again. Just don't unparent it. Alright, so we're going to start with the upper arm. We're going to hit your control N. Now, there's another way of doing it. You just right click, you go to new, and add controls for selected. And upper arm. There it is right there. So again, 90, tab, 2.5, 2.5. Let's give it the circle. We did solid before. Circle solid. Okay, so let's bring this in. This is going to be get control, and then we drag this one in, and we set the bone. So we're just going to put this right about here, and there, attach the transform to the value, and then execute to the sub forward solve. And we go ahead and make sure we compile and save, and now we can move both arms. Let me undo my and the head. No. Control Z. So everything is working as it should. So we're going to go ahead and label this. And these is upper, left, and right. Sorry, I just had to type that one-handed. Yeah, I had my mouse in my other hand. So that's done. So now we have control rigs for that. Just checking out the time here. Okay, so let's drop down. We're going to go ahead and pull these through here. I'm going to pull them back. And I'm going to take this one. I'm going to pull, no. Okay, that opens up room right here. Alright, so now we're going to do the lower. No, I don't want to do that. Hit my control N. It's just pretty much doing the same thing and plugging them in. It's just repetition after this. So we got our pretty much the same. I like to use a circle. You can use pretty much whatever you want. I mean, it's all up to you, preference. You can use the size that you want. It's all up to you. That's what's great about it. Great about being American. Choices. We're allowed to make them. So if you want to make them squares, go ahead. Alright, so we got this, but we don't have it connected. So we're going to go ahead and hit the lower. We're going to go ahead and drag this in. We're going to set the bone. We're going to drag in the lower control. We are going to get control. And put the control next to the set. And we're going to do transform to value. I'm going to move these into a better position. And these are going to be our D. So I think I should start labeling them too at this point, so I know that okay, that's D. So I'm gonna hit the C. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a nice D. And let's zoom in so everybody can see here. we got D. This is going to be, oh, I'm jumping the gun here. Pull this down. I can still stretch this out. I still got to add more to this. I got to do the left side, or the right side. So this is going to be lower. Oh, I got 2 W's in there. That doesn't sound good. Okay, so there I got where it's executing to. It's executing to D. Pull this down a little bit more. Compile, save, and we have control of lower. And do movement. So on to the next. We are on to the right. Okay, lower arm right, control N. Oh, control N, there we go. And we're gonna go ahead and take it from default. We're gonna put it on the circle thick. We're gonna go and give it a 90-degree angle. And I'm gonna do 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. Okay, that's set. So now I'm gonna take the lower arm. I'm going to do my set, my bone, and bring in my control, and we're going to get control. And same as before, transform to value, execute, this is E. Alright, so we do D and E. Okay, so both these functions work. Let's test them. Yep, and it works. So next I'm going to do the pelvis. As you can see, it's all just repetition. It's the same thing. You just, make the control arm. You go ahead and set the shape of the control arm, position of the control arm. Then you go ahead. Now make sure, I always make the mistake of the transform. You want to stay away. This is where when it moves, as you can see, the value is changing. You don't want it when you're switching the control arm shape. You want to stick to the values down here. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. So sometimes it helps just to type it in, so when you go ahead and put your control and it doesn't drop all the way down, you can't find it, it's hard to get to. So always the one I'm working on, I just type it on. So do the help. Okay, I found out the value 6. Just bring it out a little bit larger, and there it is. You can click on it. Again, you can make it a box, you can make it whatever you want. So we're going to go ahead and drag in. We are going to set the bone, and with our control, you're going to get the bone. Well, get control. And we're going to tap, as before, transform to value, and execute to RF. Now, I'm not sure if this is the right one, if I should have done spine. So, no, this was not the right one. I'm just going to comment this. Oh. And this was F. Okay, so let's do spine. So we do spine 1. Control N. Okay, control. Box solid. That looks about right. Let's go in and bring in get control. And let's do set bone. Transform to value. Execute. G. Now, I can start bringing this down closer so I don't have to go finding it. This right there. And this was going into G. And that is a spine. Let me go ahead and do spine this one too. So let's bring in some room here. I'm going to hit Control N. This 5. We're going to go ahead and get control. And we're going to bring in spine 5. We're going to set it. I'm going to change this one. Let's do circle thick. Solid. Oh, we gotta change it to 90 degrees, that's right. Alright, and we're gonna bring it up a little bit. Or go down a little bit. Oh no, this is... We gotta change this size here. There we go. Now we can change this one. Circle thick. 90. Alright, I'm not even worried about. Okay, that's it for now. Like I said, you can keep going. There are so many bones here you can work with. So we could be here. I can make this video longer and we'll be here, but it's all just about repetition. Like I said, you got the sequence here. This works best for me. It keeps all the bones in line, as you can see here. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this out now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and bring my back in there. Okay. So here's our sequencer. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and add there everyone where it's at that position. Okay. So we can just rotate their arm now and press E. Okay. Oh, sorry, I gotta move the timeline. So go in about 15 seconds, 16, doesn't really matter. You move them up, and right by the plus button, you're just adding a new key. So now you go back, and we just animated his arm, the first animation. Congratulations. So let's go back to that part of the timeline, and let's move his arm up too. Like, hey, he's having a good time. So at the same time, at that same location, let's go ahead and turn them. And then we add in a key. Let's go to 30. And we'll turn him back. He's coming back into position. And we're going to go ahead and hit the plus. So he's doing this little exercise. So now I'm going to have him put his arms down. We're at 60 on that one. And if you forget always write stuff down. Take notes, where they at, what degree, position his arm is. Left arm was in this one at this sequence, so you can go back when you need to. Oops, I forgot to set this one. Go. First animation, congratulations. Okay, you guys put a little. So you can also just copy. Control C. Alright, see? Down a little bit here. So it's a little stretching exercise. And you can make it as long as you want. We add in a little bit of movement. And you can just mess with it however you want. It's really fun. I mean, after you get through all the labeling and the chaos with the bones, after that long and dreary process, you get to have some fun with this animation. So it's really interesting. Go ahead, give it a try. It's really fun. I'm having a great time doing this. I enjoy UE5. Like I said before, it's so much. I like this so much better with my animations. Let's go ahead and get rid of the sequence here. Let me jump back in here. Yeah, do the sub panel first. I'll put a link for pictures to have to do this. But putting this sequence is the best thing. It just helps it, the first bone, the head bone, connect them all together. But that's it. So next time, keep creating.